my friends, I'm Rick, and this is your seat at the table. And we got little Missy sitting back here looking out the window in the sun. She's catching a little bit of sun. Can you see her there? And you see her. There she is, right there. You see her? Right there. That's her. That's her back there. Yeah, like I said, if you haven't watched my my gripe session that I'll post before I post any of this stuff, we did lose one of the garage cats, Buddy. You know, it's very sad. No idea what the hell happened to him. He's a big, fat, happy cat, and then a couple days ago he just stopped eating, and the wife said his belly got really, really hard. And I checked him out Wednesday or Thursday, and you know, poked and prodded his belly, and he wasn't complaining, so I didn't think he was. I just thought he was just really fat, but it's hard to say. We think he was 4 to 5. I think he was about 5 years old, 4 to 5 years old, and he spent a good chunk of that, well, all of it on the street. He was looked after very well. Jen across the street looked for, you know, fed him real well. And then he came over here and we fed him. And then he was one of the first ones to discover the garage. And then once we got him out there, he didn't want to come back down. So he spent the last 4 years, basically 3 or 4 years, living in our garage. Even when we opened the door, he'd just go up above. He did not want to come down. So when he hadn't seen him in 2 days, the wife said, we got to go look for him, and I take that very serious because, you know, I told her I have a standing rule. If you don't see one of them, you know, one of them cats, you don't see them and within at least once every other day, you need to know. We need to go find out what's going on because, you know, it may be able that there's something we can help them with, and then maybe not. Anyway. So I'm still dealing with that kind of thing, and then there's some other issues. That's what the other videos for. So we're looking at Jihad: The Final Reckoning. Now I had posted a previous video on a different supplement, and thought, I said, well, that was the end of it. And one of y'all left a comment and said, no, there's another one, and you're absolutely 100% correct, of course. And this is Jihad: Final Reckoning. Once again, like I said, through all the 5 books that are Jihad related, oh my God, the way to write, the way it's laid out is so hard to follow. It's so all over your damn face, and there's so many things that are left intentionally unanswered. It just drives you crazy. So the first portion of the book is not really any better or worse than the other 4 books in the series when it comes to being useful enough to somebody who has no idea what the hell's going on. And I mean, I have a better understanding now than I did when I first started. I will grant you that, but there's still so much here. It's just a hot mess, and I think I'm grateful that this part of it's over with. That said, there is a different part of this book, on the other hand, that is quite useful and quite valuable from a lore perspective for setting the tone of the era. And we're getting into, you know, this is the mopping up section. Let's see, Jihad and review. We went into this stuff behind here. So we get into the other sections back here when we start talking about the state of the state, if you will, of the various factions and how they're sitting at the end of the Jihad, and what some of their expected major issues is going to be right off the bat. Here's these I don't know how you want to call these things. I used to call them freaking scenarios, not to how you call them now. Oh, whatever. Yeah, it's something. Damn it, I know. Where you at? Where are you at? Lives we need. The states of the inner sphere. So this is from here back. This last half. This is the probably of the whole book. This is the one that's worth the most in my opinion, because it gave me a better, solid, uninterrupted, discombobulated Jihad era version of what the hell's going on with the various factions. So we get the military state of the inner sphere powers, industrial state, and the political landscape. All this was important because it really helped me set and understand, you know, why the hell did, you know, for example, the Free Worlds League just completely disintegrate. And when I stepped back into things, it was a hot mess, and they're just now trying to get their act back together again. So it's been a hot mess for a minute, and how it got there, you know, via the Jihad Dark Age era is, you know, one of those things where I'm still struggling to put my fingers around. That's just my opinion, of course. Anyway, so when we get into the breakdown, so the Lyran Alliance and just how messed up everything gotten and how much damage that some of their key industrial sites have taken, really puts into perspective as to why it would take so long after the fact to recover from it. Same with all the major houses, right? With the free worlds being the worst of the lot, you know, and being the most, have the longest, or say the furthest road to go for you know, reunification and to basically, you know, regain what they've lost. Then you add the addition of this yet a fourth or additional power, the Republic of the Sphere, and there's still a whole lot of unanswered stuff. As far as I'm concerned, some of the Dark Era Age novels that I read that was dealing with this, it had that time skip forward, and I was so lost by most of it, I became annoyed with it. It's the least of it, but just kind of dismissal on some parts of it. Anyway, we also have some interesting additional machines and stuff back here, and other weapon systems and stuff, which is always nice. And we got some more talks about Workabake remnant forces, shadow divisions. Still insufficient information as far as I'm concerned. Would have been nice to seen a supplement specifically for the shadow divisions and all the related stuff that goes with that. So from a player perspective, we'd have a much solid, much more deeper understanding of what just the hell that was and what the hell was going on there. And we have to also consider something too. Even though the word of Blake is gone, the procedures and the procedures and the stuff it did to create the people they did still exists somewhere. So is that a completely finished off chapter, or is there still something potentially coming down the road we won't see yet? You just unanswered questions, right? And some questions are never meant to be answered, and some we're better off we don't get answered. And in truth, it just adds more flavor when you have unanswered questions and stuff. So we get into some more of these really funky things. Some of the missing hidden worlds, the hidden 5, which I found to be very eye-opening, very interesting. I have read other bits and pieces on a couple of these in other places. And then we have the stuff like hyperpulse bombs, nasty. The Machina Domini, I cannot pronounce these words, right? So much that left unknown about them. So much. Super heavy BattleTech. Oh, we all know about the tripods and crap. KF torpedoes. Spectral LAMs, drone battle mechs. Now we're getting into some high cut and tech. See, when I thought of technology on the Starlink's cutting edge era, before the first Starlink fell apart, things like drone battle mechs in my brain made perfectly good sense. I mean, I could see it was more, to me, the battle mechs are a mixed lot of crappy technology and innovation. That said, if you were to mold solid state drone technology to them, there's absolutely no reason why your pilots could have to be put at harm's way for any reason. They could be stuck in leave them in a drop ship in orbit or in a bunker underground somewhere, and shoot, their mech goes down. They just plug into the next machine available, assuming there's one available. I mean, the opportunities and stuff's there. And we've seen this in addition of these new land air mechs, which kind of surprised me. I was surprised that anybody would want to continue pursuing this particular stuff. That they didn't, or they did, kind of came as a bit of a surprise. I don't know why, but there's always even a bad idea keeps getting repackaged every now and then, just because they can't help it. So we got the Manei Domini interface armor that's directly interfaces with the, we're back to that bioorganic technology shit. 45-ton Gestalt. The first and only Machina Domini, or however you want to pronounce it. So you got an Omega 45 tons. We got super super heavy. Let's get all over there. 150 tons. Yeah. These are walking pillbox when you think how slow these damn things are. They're revving it. Four-legged mech drone thing, right? Oh, excuse me. Then we get into these lambs. I mean, I think they did a good job into bringing them up to be more practical. But at the end of the day, any hybrid, anything, it's going to have a very small niche, and each their own. You know? Each their own. That's all I can say. Because the fact that the World of Blake was pushing the envelope for technology is not surprising. Because the truth is, what surprised me for so many hundreds of years, Comstar secretly maintained the Starlink technical base on Earth, at least, and their medical base and everything else. There was no real signs of any backsliding on their end of stuff. It's just that everybody else was allowed to backslide because the Comstar's real goal of how they wanted to control stuff isn't surprising. So that what's kind of surprising is, excuse me, over those 300 years they hadn't advanced technology even much further than they did, because they could have. And they could have, should have, would have kind of stuff kind of runs to my brain a little bit. You come back around the corner and you say, well, why don't we do this and why don't we do that? Well, we didn't, because we didn't think about it until after the fact. Or, I'm sure there's plenty of practical reasons they did or didn't. So we see them reintroducing things like the Lamb air mechs and stuff, and I'm going, okay, of all the resources you could have devoted to other things and other projects, so that you get a bigger turnaround for your buck and get more bang for your buck than something like this, then sure, whatever works for you. I don't think I would field any of these things, even if you can get your hands on it anyway. But it just shows that the love is still there for the machine, right? You gotta love it. Anyhow, I'm Rick. You're not. Little Missy back here. Till next time, you guys have yourself a great weekend. It just irritates me to no end.